Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Miranda, and today I'm going to go over my weekly passion planner for the month of March. You can see I've already kind of filled in some key information. The stickers here for the dates are very lightly colored, but you can still see them. I put in the moon cycle, and then I've put just kind of different activities that I worked on, different events like my mom visiting or some of the appointments that I had, like going to the DMV. I'm going to go through how I use this Undated planner. It's set up a little bit differently than the dated planners, and also walk through color coding it. I might just fast forward through some of this, but figured it would be fun. Okay. So in March, my focus was to really come back to the world of planning, especially for my passions. I was very, honestly, like most people, I think January and February are just lighter social months. They're very indoors, it's cold, you get cozy. March was the start of some warmer weather here in New York, so back to actually maintaining a good balance of activities and all the things that I want to do. From a passions perspective, we had a kickoff of a project, so that's been the huge focus of my month. I'm gonna go back through people to see, places to go, things to learn after I go through the full weeks, but like I mentioned, this planner, as it's undated, is a little set up differently. So right after the month, the reflection pages for that month go, and then it's the next month. So I actually have to go into the weeks to see kind of where March begins. So at the end of February, I went to Puerto Rico. Very light tracking, but you can see I start to really bring the color coding in, content planning, also bill tracking, debt payments, all the good stuff. In the week following, I do not do that. I definitely was in my post-vacation blues, but I was reading quite a bit. Specifically, I was reading Speak by Tunde Oyenyin and Cultish by Amanda Montell. There was also lots of good things, from the Traders finale to like night at the Brooklyn Library to getting food with my mom. So it's very much a social week here. I definitely think end of day wrap pretty much covers all of what I did. The YouTube, we're back in it. So let's look. Okay, so Mondays I have therapy at 1, and then I have lunch. Finally, throughout the week, I'm doing lunch at 1 or 1:30, sometimes 12:30. I'd like to mark out this time, just because it is time that I know I could definitely work through or skip. So taking the intentionality of the hour, the full hour, is key. I have some key meetings, so I'm gonna fill in some of those. I think this week was much more around focus time, doing some project work. So I'm gonna start, I'm pretty sure, with the beginning of this week. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This day, and just generally Mondays, I do start a little bit later, especially on days that I traveled the day before, so I know that I definitely had a long day, but it was, in comparison to some, a little bit later. This day I started at 8:30, I ran all the way through lunch, and then I'm pretty sure I ran through here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half, 5, 6, 7, will give me 8. This last couple of weeks definitely have been more focused on preparing for the work that is gonna start coming. I feel like April is where, I don't know, I feel like my busy season can start anywhere from February to April, but it really gets intense May and June, and that's where all of these little details of my work I fill up. So I might not do that for this, as I am recording this and sharing it with a broader population than just myself, but I also think it's just gonna be, I'll give a version, I think, of what I plan to do. This one, oh, I did go through this, love that for me. Oh, I went through and put blocks on what date times I had those detailed like plans. So if I have long meetings or anything of that nature. I also put some of the weather there. I love that because this week was pretty warm. I also feel like I'm always just like back to planning videos, back to planning, back to videos. I promise March was the month I definitely wanted to come into videos. For this day, we're gonna put some information there. I started to go to yoga, which has been super helpful. This week was fun because I had a improv experience at the New York Public Library. I don't know how to describe that, but there, for Women's History Month, there was a bunch of really fun stuff. I went out with my friend in Harlem to grab some tacos. I freaking love that place, so good. This Thursday, I'm pretty sure was beautiful, and I actually went for a walk with my friend, and then I hosted my dad for dinner, which I always love to do at least once a month. And for this, yeah, I definitely had a shorter day. I went to go get my DMV. This was a weekend where I came back to my quarterly goals. I want to make sure every quarter I go through just a reset of things that I don't need. I can donate, things I can put on my book buy nothing group. So I actually donated a bunch of books and yarn. I'm very excited that that has another life, and I feel like I should have fun colors for that. Oh, I get really detailed here. Look at me. Love that. So, okay, we have my email, then I work for a while. I take off this half day just to run around doctor visits and meetings and the Classic Theater of Harlem, because that's, yeah, that feels crazy that I do that, but I love it. I also had started working out, doing like training, which I think is amazing. And I put a weekly holds for just like deeper painting time. I feel like I have moments where I'm like, oh, I can make a quick sketch, but for painting, it feels like I have to clean up more, so I have to prepare more, so on and so forth. I did have a later meeting this week. I have a teammate in Australia, so I always try to make time at a more reasonable morning hour for him, and considering I can kind of go within my day to do what I need, it makes it easy for me. This is all work. That was all work. I did film some of my daily content on the 27th, which I love. Oh, this was a very fun day. So I worked out, came back, it was payday, so I did a little payday extravaganza, and then actually from 3 to 6 there was a huge training event. This weekend I went thrifting, definitely hung up a bunch of things that I needed to, that just like projects that I have around the house. My dad also came over on Friday night. We watched Wicked, which was so fun to introduce him even several months later. He hadn't seen it. Of course, Sunday, ending with White Lotus. Okay, this might be my favorite because it starts to go into this past week, but I'm gonna just focus on kind of what I've been doing here. That was some focus time. Some core meeting. And I did. Do financial check-in. Yeah, I'm gonna. I feel like this is a very fun family time, social time. A lot in museums. I kind of love that. Why I love kind of doing this is I can start to see also where I'm having more consistent use of my time. So like I do a bi-weekly wellness coach. I love that check-in. And then the weeks that I don't have my wellness coach, I have a doctor check-in, a psychologist check-in, which feels more balancing. I also have a weekly mentor meeting. I guess I colored that now already. Okay, here we go. My mentor message. I definitely need to do, I think, more of that. Also, did I go? Yeah, I went in person. So I traveled that one day. The comedy show was a funny social event. I feel like my biggest takeaways as I do this are I love the weeks where I can go 2 to 3 times out and then have like a weekend where I'm doing one big event and then I'm like kind of chilling one day. And as I go into, doing this, I'm so excited to show you guys more about her. But I'm also just looking at like what brought me joy, like going to a networking event, going and seeing some theater, and hanging out with my dad, taking time to laugh. I feel like that has been just so medicinal. So as I go back into my monthly reflections, you can see January, I said not that great. February filled out a little bit, but I didn't do my monthly reflection. So as I go into the month of March, I am going through and just thinking about, okay, what was the most memorable, describing it in detail, my biggest lessons I learned. But really the color coding comes here, where like reviewing this past month, what have been my priorities, have I been happy, thinking about the time I'm spending with friends is so much of how I'm happy with my time. I want to do more of that. I definitely also want to do more art appreciation and connection. I feel like that is something, especially from like an artist state perspective, I want to take time to do. In terms of accomplishments, I feel like just getting to this point in March where I'm back and using my weekly has been super helpful. And then also just like starting my fitness journey, starting training again, getting more regimented in the routine of wellness in general, but specifically to picking up weights. Between last month and this month, my depression just, who is she? Gone. I attribute that to nicer weather, but also antidepressant. So I love that for me. Who am I grateful for? I'm going to think about this a little bit more. But yeah, as you go through planning of the sort, I feel like this is something that to do fully before going into April is going to be key. I'm still kind of depleting on how much I'm showing my true reflections or just kind of showing more of the sanitized examples of them, because it does feel super personal to come into these kinds of spaces, especially because my passions are very much focused on things outside of my 9 to 5 and my personal connections and relations. But yeah, as you go through your weekly, I'm curious on what has been the most helpful for you. Do you color code on the side? How do you think about, putting your personal to-dos and some of these stickers in there? And what vibe do you generally have in your planner? Toodles!